Hello, everyone, and welcome to Reeling with Rachel, where today we are going to talk about what to do after you declutter. Now, I have not decluttered recently, and I need to. Like, I'm kind of ashamed. Hold on. And trust me, I am a person that practices what they preach. However, I got some deadlines in this bare bedroom. The mess as it is not priority. However, I'm going to teach y'all how to make decluttering a priority so that you don't get stuck with this. Or better yet, you know how to handle stuff like this. So let's get to it. The 3 tips on how to remain decluttered. Let's talk about decluttering. Yeah. Don't forget to subscribe. Tip number 1, evaluate your current lifestyle. Okay, you got rid of your old high school pom-poms because you're not a cheerleader anymore. You got rid of the racetrack because you got daughters and they're not into it. Like whatever it is you got rid of for a reason, and whatever it is you kept for a reason. So find how that fits in your current lifestyle. So let's say you kept your sewing machine because you want to sew. Where in your schedule, where in your time frame can you dedicate to sewing? What is your next project? Get on the Pinterest board, and don't just make the wish list Pinterest board, the one that you like just add stuff to and you never look at again. Don't do that one. Do the one that you're actually like, I want to get back into sewing for my kids. I want to get back into sewing so I can actually flatter my own body. Whatever it is for you. That sewing machine was just an example. I'm not the sewing machine girl. So just find what it is for you. Why did you keep this? And have that tailor your life. Now, you're not all of a sudden going to get back into something that is too life altering. Like if it's winter and you live in the Midwest and you want to all of a sudden go tropical scuba diving and you don't have the budget for that, like that doesn't make sense. Find a way that it makes sense in the life that you're living now. So if you do have Wednesday nights that your kids are at church or you're just hanging out, you're not doing anything, maybe that's the time you get out the sewing machine you saved because you wanted to save that for a reason. Don't just let it be clutter you left to throw away at another time. I do that all the time. I'm like, but I need it. And then later on, 3 months, 6 months, I'm like, I didn't need it. And I just procrastinated that decision. That's all that clutter is. Don't hold on to clutter when you're going to use it. Don't hold on to clutter because you can't make a decision about it. Now, if you have the space, I would also say that it's okay to store stuff. Like if you have that sewing machine, you spend a lot of money on it and you have toddlers around and you're just not going to sew right now, it's okay to store that, but store intentionally. Don't store to procrastinate. Always think about that. Store intentionally. Don't store to procrastinate. Now, if you're just storing the Beanie Babies because someday they're going to be made a lot of money, you got to rethink that because that might just be procrastination again. You never know. They could be worth a lot of money. I just know that I see them stored a lot. Tip number 2 is create systems for processing things that come in. I can't control everything that comes in the house. Sometimes things have to come into the house, but there has to be a system to process it so they don't just like go into piles around the house. Because if I don't process it, that's what happens. It just, path of least resistance, it goes to an area and then we like pretend we don't see it. And oftentimes we don't see it. But that's the visual clutter that messes with our heads. Like it's there. We don't recognize it, but our subconscious does. So this goes for mail. If you have mail that comes in that you aren't able to opt out of, like the give me the electronic version, save the trees kind of deal, do that first. But if it isn't a thing that you can do, or if you like the physical coupons, you like the magazines, have a process for that. If you're like me, I hate the mail, I hate the bills, I hate them, and I still need to hone that process. If you're like me, go ahead and give this video a like. I know that I can't be the only one. So have a system in place for processing that. If that's Tuesday nights, that's when you do it. Sunday nights when your husband and you can finally get together and do it, whatever it is, or just like have an area where your husband sees it later and you store it for him in a timely manner. Don't store it for him and he'd be like, oh, I didn't know we have this overdue draft. And you're like, oh yeah, I should have showed you that. Didn't I show you that? Like have a process in place for that even. So that goes for bills, that goes for mail, that goes for clothes, kids' clothing. Have a process for as your infant's growing out of clothes. Oh my gosh, it happens so often. Every 3 months you're like, okay, let's do it again. And by the time that they're 1 or 2, that skill is lost because it's only every year. However, have in place a really good strategy for that. So I oftentimes will organize them, put them in little bins, and then as they go, just keep the ones that are your favorite for the next baby and get rid of the rest. Because there's going to be some places that, were donated or that you accidentally bought and you're like, eh. Don't say what you don't like. So go ahead and donate what you don't like. Keep what you do and find a place that you can store that. Like I said, intentional storing. If you're wanting to have another baby, if there's a chance for another baby, or if you know someone with a baby who could look so cute in those clothes, go ahead and give them. Let your clutter be a blessing when it is. Don't let your clutter be a burden for your family or for whoever it is you're donating. Like, don't keep getting clutter because you're like, oh, I'll donate it. They can't handle that much clutter, okay? But let your clutter be a blessing to others if it can be. And my last and final tip number 3, is have a home for everything. If it doesn't have a home, it doesn't stay in your home, okay? So I like to ensure everything has a place so that when I'm cleaning up, I know exactly where it goes. Everybody knows exactly where it goes, and it doesn't get lost in the shuffle, because then the things that don't have a home get lost in the shuffle and that turns into a pile somewhere. That turns into a pile somewhere. It's so frustrating when something doesn't have a home, because it's just this wishy-washy thing that always gets in people's way. That's the thing that is always lost, because you're like, where is this? I don't know. It didn't have a home. It's not, and it's so frustrating. I don't like wishy-washy things that I didn't declare a home for or someone else didn't declare a home for. If you value your stuff, you give a space for that stuff, and only keep stuff that you actually value. Don't just have the vase up there because you've had it forever, and don't keep that if it doesn't add value. The other thing that's like part B of this have a home for everything is set capacity limits. If you like your knickknacks, it's fine. That's wonderful. If you're a knickknack person, I'm not. That's too much dusting. But if you have like a shelf where all your knickknacks go, set a capacity limit. Don't have 20 things that go up there, because then you don't see any of them. And that's fine if you're doing like the little Christmas thing, and like the image or the visual of the town itself needs a lot of things, but that's a one time a year kind of deal. So set capacity limits. If you have the knickknacks, set 10, or like find the right number that just looks good for that space so that you can value and see each and every one and have that be the limit. If you don't have limits, little knickknacks will start creeping in, little things will start creeping in, and then it creates that visual clutter that you don't want, that like takes the specialness and the like beautifulness away from all of them. Don't have too many things, because soon too many things will just, clutter begets clutter. So if you have a little bit, you didn't set the limits, you just open it up for like a can of worms over time. So those are my 3 tips for you. Evaluate your current lifestyle, see what is working and see what is not, see what you can do, see what you need to store intentionally, and don't procrastinate decisions, because you're going to end up doing it anyways, just throwing it away. Don't let it be there in your life until then. The second thing, create processing systems for mail, for bills, for clothes, whatever is coming in and going out, groceries, the recycling, all of that. Create systems. That's like the easiest one to create a system for. We all know how to do that one, but find the things that are kind of harder that turn into clutter. And then the last thing, make a home for everything. Make a home for everything. If it doesn't have a home, it shouldn't be in your home, okay? Fist bump, we got this. I hope that these help you, and I know that they will help me as I go and do them now. Thank you guys for staying with me. I appreciate it. See you on the flip side. Bye.